Hi everyone! Welcome to our fourth talk of the series. I am so excited. So let me just write the topic of the day and we'll wait for more people to join in. Hi Violeta!
Hi, Christine. How are you?
Good, how are you doing? What time is it there? I think it's 1 hour after, right? It's 3
Yes,
p.m.?
it's 3 p.m.
So, okay, so I'm just gonna write this here. Hi Parminder, welcome! Okay, so the topic of the day is Panama, orphanage dance programs. Hey Jamie, orphanage dance programs. Social benefits and barriers amidst COVID. COVID. Hi, Move Your Feet Academy. That's a dance academy here in Guatemala.
Nice.
Okay, here we go. So let me just pin it. Sorry, technology. Pin comment. There we go. So we're gonna wait, I guess, a few more seconds or a minute more for more people to join in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but well, first of all, nice to meet you for the first time.
Nice to
Hello.
meet you too.
Okay, so we got a few more people joining in. And do you guys out there have programming these days, or I mean, do you have programming on the weekends, or do you just offer dance classes during the weekdays?
We have weekdays.
Okay, awesome. Okay, think I think that we're just going to go ahead and get started.
Okay.
So, the structure of our talk is going to be, well, I'll introduce myself and then I'll allow you to introduce yourself. And from there, I have a few questions to keep our talk going and our discussion, keep our discussion moving in a direction. And if you have anything you want to add on, feel free to ask questions. And also anyone who's here in the audience, you can ask questions at any moment. So I'll introduce myself. My name is Christine Chayari Lopez, and I am the founding director of Transformación Ballet here in Guatemala. And my program has about 120 students, and 50% of those students take free dance classes through our scholarship program, which is basically they take the classes for free. And for the students who aren't from orphanages, it's also tied academically, which means that they have to keep their grades at a certain level, and we also offer academic support. So for some of the children who struggle, I'll be visiting their schools and talking to their teachers just to make sure that their grades can stay up, and so they understand the importance of that and the responsibility to stay in dance. And it's a Christian ballet ministry, so aside from that, we also do conferences and talks on what it means to be a daughter of God and a child of Christ, as well as talking about health, such as periods and health as a female and the female body. So I'll give you the mic now, if you can introduce yourself.
Nice. Thank you. Okay, my name is Violeta. I'm from Panama, and I'm the country director of Movement Exchange. So Movement Exchange, it's a not-profit organization. And our objective as a not-profit organization is to make dance more accessible for every kids here in Panama. So right now we are working with orphanage. Well, we call them orphanage in English, but in here in Panama they call them homes, like hogares. They don't like to say orphanage, right? So we are working with two orphanage. They are Malambo and Aldea. And then we have a movement called Barrio Activo. So we have some classes, 10 classes to those kids from a specific community. And they are having sometimes like hard times. It's a really difficult situation that they are having. So they are receiving those classes for free too. And they are receiving breakdance, ballet, contemporary. They have some space to make like a creativity piece of dance. And the other part of movement exchange is making those exchange with dancers from United States, right? So we have those exchanges where we bring dancers to Panama, and they have the opportunity to have that exchange not just with another dancers here in Panama, but they can have that exchange with the kids. And this is like really magic, a really magic thing. I'm organizing those exchanges, and I can see like all the progress during the week because they stay here for a week, and it's really amazing to see like those students or dancers coming to Panama and then to have that experience, right? Because we are having like a cultural exchange, but at the same time, we are having those experience with the kids. And it's not just about like I'm coming and serving to the kids, but it's about exchanging with the kids. I'm seeing the kids and I'm looking at them the same than me. It's not like I'm just helping them. We are having a change. And the same with the dancers, and they are having like a cultural experience in Panama. So this is the other part of the program that we are having. Yeah, this is like the resume of everything.
That's amazing. And I think
Yeah.
one really unique thing that having a nonprofit that's focused on dance, that as far as volunteers coming in, is that a lot of people for nonprofit organizations are now very against volunteerism, saying that it's not making a positive impact in the short term. However, if it's a dance cultural exchange, it's not a negative, there's no negative impact because dancers around the world receive workshops in one moment, and you get as much as you can to not only build relationships but understand how to exchange and build your expression and also improve your technique. So I think it's really amazing that nonprofits in the dance world are able to have that type of short-term volunteer, and it just leaves a positive impact on both parties because they're teaching each other dance, and from there they can grow and bring it back to their community. So
Yes.
thank you for being part of that organization.
Thank you. It's really amazing because with these students, many of them are dance students and they have some chapters in their schools, right? So they are not doing this like here in Panama, but they are coming back to their country thinking like, what else can I do? What else can I do with this that I have that is dance? And they can see and discover another ways to use the art, right? They can serve, they can change, they can heal emotions and help people to understand that they can use the art as a healing tool, as a expression. It's really amazing, that part. So I think like having those chapters in different parts of the United States is really nice because they don't stop or don't lose like that inspiration that they get here, but they can continue there and maybe they can come back next year and continue doing the same.
And I think that's actually perfect for our next, or the question that I'm going to ask, because, well, as you and I know as dancers, dance is definitely a form of therapy, and dance therapy is now something that people can actually study and then become a dance therapist. So moving into the section of our discussion, talking a little bit more about the Orphanage Dance Program, can you share a little bit about the Orphanage Dance Program and how that serves as therapy to children who first might not actually be orphans but have been taken away from their family once or multiple times, and two, how that has impacted the social structure within the orphanage because of the dance programs you're offering. So we're just talking about this in general without talking about the impacts of COVID-19 on the dance program.
Okay, perfect. Well, how you know, we are working with kids from 5 years old until 17 years old. So we have like a big group of people that we're working with. And it's really interesting because, you know, this part of the human being life, it's a really important part to create their personality, to help them with their character, everything, right? So they're having difficult situations in their life. And here in Panama, orphanage doesn't mean that you don't have family. Many of them have family, but their family doesn't have like the how do you say anything to share to the kids. They are having drug problems, many things, so they have to give the kids to different orphanage or homes here in Panama. And the art in specific the dance can impact their life, and we have like many people as example, but in different ways, talking about the cognitive part, like that they are this thoughts, like how do you call, like this process about creating those thoughts about who am I, knowing your body, because it's like the first step when you want to empower in this world. It's like knowing more about you, like knowing what you like, what you don't like, your body, what am, and achieving goals too, because they're like um, for example, if you are in a breakdance class and they start learning specific movements, they start thinking about themselves like, okay, I can do it, and they start doing things that they didn't think that they could do it. So it's amazing because it's like a really whole thing, like you are talking about cognitive part, the technical, at least we don't have like these advanced groups because we are using the dance as a way to create community, to show them that there is something else, that this world where they are living like with many difficult things, and this is the dance, right? So we have different examples, like I have one of my best friends. She grew up in an orphanage and she started dancing in different programs, and a dance teacher took her and said like, okay, I'm going to take you to the dance school here in Panama and you will learn how to dance. And now she's like a really famous dancer here in Panama.
Yeah.
She can talk about like how dance impact in her life. And this is what we want. We don't want like dancers or professional dancers, but we want to show them that there is something else. And we think like dance, it's a really amazing way to show them that and to help them, to
Yeah.
give them tools for their life.
Amazing. And I see a comment coming in here from, it says Mujer de Mil Mundos, and she's a Mexican American designer. She
Mhm.
asked about self awareness. I can talk a little bit about that topic and then I'll move it on to you.
Mhm.
I'll pass the mic on to you. So, as far as children in situations where they're in a children's home or an orphanage, dance definitely works as therapy. And it's not only self-awareness, but for many children who come from situations of abuse, they separate their mind from their body. So dance is allowing them to get to know their body in a new way and appreciate it in a new way. So I personally, when I teach my dance classes with children from the children's home or the orphanage, I see that some of the children are extremely uncoordinated, and if you point to their right leg and you say, like, point your right leg, they'll move their left arm, or that's an exaggerated, but they'll move their left leg in the wrong direction. And I see that a lot with children who come from situations of abuse, because I don't ask for their stories, because why would a child want to relive and share their story? But when I learn about their stories, I realize the children who have come from the very difficult, abusive home situations are the children who have disconnected from their bodies. And through dance, they're learning how to reconnect with their bodies in a beautiful, self-expressive way. And that's one thing that the orphanage dance programs do provide. It's allowing kids to love themselves again. Because kids, if they're, imagine being a little child going through something so horrible like abuse, and you don't want to remember what happened to your body, but then you can now look at your body and say, my body can move this way and I can express how I feel through this thing that is dance. And it's incredible. And it's definitely, yes, self-awareness and reconnecting with what our soul is inside of, our body. I'll pass you the mic on that one now.
Yes, I would like to add something about emotions, because it's really important, like talking about like emotional intelligence. And I think dance help us with that, because one of the first steps to be like more intelligent in this emotional level, it's to know better our emotions, right? And I think dance gives you that tool to create. And this process of creativity You have to understand what you are feeling to start expressing that. And this is amazing because if you have dance as a way to expression, I can express many things that I have inside and I don't want to talk about that. And I can just express it and use it as a therapy. So many people, if you ask to them like, why are you dancing, or why are you studying dance? Because I feel good, because when I was sad I started dancing and I felt better. So many people have those stories, and it's the same. I can do the same with these kids if they start like moving their bodies and they can see dance as a way to express, to heal their emotions. When they don't feel good, they can start like just dancing or creating, and at the same time as a way to use their time more productive, because in sometimes in those homes they don't have like a specific schedule. They come back from school, they go to watch TV, and they have specific in the teenager time, they have all this energy that they can create things, that they can start like thinking about what I want to do. They can start working on those things. But if they don't have any guide, they don't have any inspiration or motivation, they will stay at home just watching TV and not doing anything else. So I think those dance classes have helped them to see that they can do another things. And we have those activities monthly that we can take them to different theaters to see different dance pieces or theater pieces, and they can experiment another world and to say, well, there is something else here and I want to continue discovering this world. So I think it's really, really, really nice. It's a whole thing, how I told you before. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. And also moving away from that and into the academic sphere, I can tell you a story of one of my students, and I'm sure that it's the same with your students too. The children from the orphanage, if they first of all, are moved into a children's home, and this is the first or second time they've been taken away from their parents and are maybe in a different home than they were before. Sometimes children get sent to the same home, sometimes they get sent to different homes. It's so unstable. But dance, first of all, is something that children can do wherever they are. They don't have to have a certain teacher, and they don't have to have a certain space to be able to express themselves in dance. They don't need tools. They don't need pencil or paper. They just need their bodies. And I've seen with some of my students, one in particular, she was moved into the home, and then I made a connection with this one particular orphanage, and they were able to bring these girls to dance. And the one girl, she was having a lot of trouble in school, but because of dance, she started to raise her self-esteem, which then raised her self-esteem academically and how much she could achieve. So it's incredible. Just through dance, you're really empowering children and showing them how much they can succeed in achieving something in dance, because dance is not easy at all. Like, doing your splits takes a lot of investment in time. Getting a pirouette with good technique with your legs spread out, which you already you have to be flexible to do that and strong. Every single, I guess, goal or thing that you achieve, it takes a lot of work and there's a lot of technique behind it. So when the kids realize, I can do this, that means that they can succeed also in school. It means that they can succeed also in maybe an art project. It means that next time, if somebody is maybe bullying them at the home, they can think, I'm going to be poised like a ballerina, or they can think, I'm going to be strong and stand up for what I believe in this situation.
Yes.
Do you have anything? I see
No,
another
yes.
question coming.
The same with, for example, choreographies, because when they're learning like a combination or combo and they learn that, they want to dance it and dance it again because they are feeling like, okay, I could do it. So it's that feeling that we want them to feel. Like, we want you to feel that you can do it. So we are going to teach you a combo and you will dance, and then you will see that you got it. And they love to be in the theater and dancing that thing that they were working the whole year for this. So it's like kind of a really interesting process that they are gaining. I saw a question here to, like, type of dances effect on the children's, right? What do you think about that?
Well, I think that I don't teach enough dance styles to speak to that question very well, but with my experience, so I teach pretty much all ballet and one lyrical and one jazz class. And I've seen that it depends on the child's personality, of course. Like if you're from an orphanage or wherever, some personalities are more drawn to hip hop, which is more aggressive and in your face, or ballet, which is more poised, elegant, and challenging. Of course, ballet is extremely challenging, versus lyrical, which is kind of graceful and expressive, but also a bit challenging. And I've seen that it depends on the girl's personality. Some of my students, they flourish in a certain style than in another style. And I think if someone can offer the style that best expresses how they're feeling, as maybe a child who might be a little more rebellious, that doesn't mean that doesn't mean exactly that they're going to like hip hop. Sometimes, especially if you're looking at disciplines, so this is moving kind of into a different direction, but the discipline of ballet in particular is something that children who don't have a lot of structure might gravitate towards because they don't like discipline, but when they have something that's forcing them to be disciplined and become responsible, they see it as a challenge and they like confronting challenges and coming out on the winning side. So I hope that maybe answered the question somewhat. I'll pass you the mic.
Yes, you're right. I think for us, it's like we want them to have that discipline. We have ballet classes too, but we have this goal that we want everyone to participate in our classes, and we want them to enjoy our classes. And sometimes they're a little bit like, I don't want to do ballet, this is like too bored or something like that. And I think you have to learn to get their attention. You have to use strategies, right, to connect with them, to see which kind of dance they are connecting, which kind of dance they are enjoying, and then you can maybe start like creating combinations. So I really I know that in this orphanage here in Panama, they love to do like these urban styles and breakdance and those kind of things. So I think as a teachers and many of the dance students that they come from United States, sometimes they get the first days they get frustrated because they say like, okay, I can with a really structured class, and here I can't do anything here because the kids don't want. So you have to learn to be flexible, right? So I'm always saying like, okay, we are here, we are trying to teach our class, but at the same time we want to impact their lives. So how can I do that in this week so we can be more flexible? Try this. If you see that they don't get engaged with it, change your strategy and try to engage your students with different strategies. So they're always like trying the urban style, and when they get like the confidence, they start teaching some technical things. So it's a kind of a strategy, but I think you have to discover what is the style that your students connect better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're doing it as therapy. And that kind of transitions into, well, something that's unique about my program and a few other programs around the world, like the one that was from Haiti that I spoke about. I don't think, do your students from orphanages integrate with your normal classes? With the
No.
other classes? No? Okay. So I guess I'll talk to this point a little bit, and then I'll move on to the next question I have here for our discussion. So I have classes that I offer at the orphanage. So I travel to the orphanage with a volunteer, and we offer a dance class there. And I also have students that travel a different orphanage on the other side of the lake. Those students travel to one of my branches to take classes there. And also, students from the other side of the lake where I travel to, they have in the past traveled to take classes and integrate with the students. And I've seen a big difference of the students who integrate in classes versus if they're taking dance classes with the kids who they live with every single day. Because if they have to go to something special and put in discipline, I've seen there's a learning curve, of course. It's difficult because they're not used to as much structure, because most orphanages or children's homes around the world, they're understaffed, they're underfunded, and the people who do it are very passionate about being there for the children, but a lot of times they're on the brink of burnout, which is one thing that dance, first of all, helps alleviate that a little bit, because when children come out of dance class, they're either tired, so they can't like be as rebellious, or they're feeling good and expressive, so they're kind of, it helps them listen to directions. But I've seen that the students who integrate with the other children in the dance classes, it gives them another responsibility, and that helps them personally. And aside from that, it pushes them to see and understand what discipline means outside of the children's home, because in a lot of children's homes, they're not very disciplined, because who has time if you have 3 staff members and 40 children or 30 children, especially if there's little ones. And I also see a difference. So because of transportation difficulties with one of the orphanages, 2 of the girls who were integrated into my formal ballet classes couldn't continue, unfortunately. And I now go there to teach the ballet classes, but I've seen a big difference in motivation. Before, when they were doing it, they knew that they were working towards something and they liked the structure of it. But now that they see their other friends in the ballet class that takes place at the orphanage, that they see that it's not as structured, they, I guess, don't try to work as hard and don't try to make their goals as much, especially because if you're going to an orphanage for classes, it's difficult to have classes based on level and age. So I just teach a group class. Do you also do that? Is that how it works in Panama?
Yes, we in the orphanage is like this. So we are trying different levels at the same time. So you have to have like a really flexible. We divided like in is big kids and the children's like 6 to 10, for example. But this is like a big difference between a kid from 6 until 10. So you have to be really flexible in your classes and to change things and to try different strategies.
Yeah, one thing I actually saw is well, based on a lot of research from orphanages, it helps older girls have something that's just for themselves, because especially when a child is in an orphanage, the older girls are always taking care of the younger girls. And so if they come to ballet class, they don't want to feel like, oh, the little girls get all the attention again. So kind of like what you did, separating the levels. For the one orphanage that I go to, I have the joint ballet class, but then I also have the teenagers who come take lyrical class at one of the local branches, which, because of transportation difficulties and how far away it is, I fundraise to be able to bring the girls in a private boat, because there's so many of them, to the next town, but they do have to figure out their transportation to the dock. So I don't know if we have any other questions from the audience. Feel free to ask any questions. I'm here with Violeta from Movement Exchange in Panama, and the topic of the day is Orphanage Dance Programs and its social benefits and barriers amidst COVID-19. So I guess with that, if you don't have anything else you'd like to ask Violeta, I can move into the portion of the talk where we talk about how COVID-19 has impacted the programs.
Yes. Well, this is like a human contact with dance, right? We have to be there to teach. We have those exchanges, and of course, we have been impacted for the COVID-19. But in the first point is that we are not inside of the homes. So right now we are not seeing the kids face to face, but we are calling them. We are sending some videos from the teachers to learn choreographies. We are planning to have like a challenge with this orphanage, like to learn some choreographies to try. I think trying to be in contact with them, and when we come back, don't feel like that we are strange, right? That we are in contact with them and they are still having that motivation. So this is the third challenge. Not being in contact with the kids that often or in the same way that we had before. The second, of course, is that we stopped with the exchanges. We are not having any exchange, like not groups coming from United States. And with this challenge, I think that we start using our creativity and the technology to don't stop, because we don't want to stop having this contact and those exchanges. So we start taking this time, for example, to train our teachers, and they're like learning new strategies, and they're taking class through Zoom to learn more how to teach the kids. And I'm more than sure that they, when they come back to classes, they will be like more prepared for their classes. They are having like those trainings for planning their classes and all those things. The second thing is that we are trying to be in contact with our dance community. So with our dance community, with those chapters that we have in United States, we are always like um, having live in our Instagram with different dancers from those exchange chapters, and we are offering all those classes. We are planning virtual exchange. So we will have like six different styles, dance styles, in one day to our community. So I think right now our objective is to be in contact and to show that even with all this problem, we can continue building this community and don't stop. Of course, we have many barriers because we are not at the orphanage and we can't have like exchanges, but we are trying to use all the tools that we have right now, right? Like the technology and yeah, being creative to survive this
Yeah,
crisis.
and sorry, do your students at the children's home have access to technology? Because one of the things that are happening here in Guatemala is that at one of the children's home, they have, well, the mama's phone and then the computer, but during free time where they could do the dance, the computer is being used by the other girls. And because it's not a majority that do ballet with me, because most of the girls at this one home are very sporty, they are not having access to their dance classes. And aside from that, I was speaking with one of the girls on the phone the other day, and they're being not directly, but indirectly bullied because the other girls are saying, like, why are you dancing? Why do you think, like, why are you practicing your ballet in front of us? Do you think you're better than us? Because when you do ballet, you have to be poised and you have to be confident. And if that's not something that all the other girls fully understand, then they might feel intimidated by somebody practicing ballet. And so that's like one of the barriers that's happening here. And then at the other children's home, they don't always, because it's very difficult to bring all the girls together with the amount of staff they have, which is a very common situation. I don't have contact with the girls because they don't have the, I guess, the capacity to be able to be in constant communication with me, because before they knew this was the day I come, give my class, I spend time with the kids, I go home. Or this is the day they travel, they come to my class and they go home. So it's a lot harder with me to have communication when they're so busy these times because the kids are just home all day. So I guess with that, was that a question? Oh, yes. Do the children have access to technology there, and what does it look like in the different children's homes? Because you teach with multiple. And also, there's a question for you here. How many students and teachers does Movement Exchange in Panama have?
Well, we have 4 teachers that they are teaching different orphanage, different styles. And in total, we are having like more or less 100 kids teaching
Ah,
them. Yes, but in total with all the orphanage. And this is always changing because the kids are sometimes at the orphanage and then the family, they are going to their families, and then there is another problem and they have to come back to the orphanage. So always it's changing. It's always changing. And about the technology, I think in Panama we have different houses, like the home, and this home has like 11 houses, and every house has a tia, what they call them tia, no? And this is the girl who is going to take care, she's taking care of all the kids in that specific home. So those tias have a cell phone, and this is the way how we are communicating with them. So we are calling the tias through WhatsApp and talking with them, to continue like connecting with them, and then sending some videos to them, and then watching to them. But like having for example, a class through Zoom, for example, it has been like a challenge for us, because it's really hard to take all the kids to a specific place. Like, who is going to take them? The tias are doing many things. They are having like 8 kids in one home, so it's hard for us that part. So because that we are trying to work like in each home, like calling, having like 11 calls per day, for example, like to call with all the homes in the
Wow.
different orphanage, like to talk with them and to see if they did the class, if they saw the video, if they practiced their things. So this is the way how we are right now connecting with them. But yeah, it's a challenge. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And I'm not sure about this question, is having dance as a tool a positive social impact in the home right now? Have you heard that the children are taking the initiative to do dance by themselves in any specific age level?
I think yes. Not all of them, but some of them they aren't. They have they don't have like computers in the houses, but they have like DVDs. So they have those DVDs kind of, it's not ballet, it's more urban choreographies. So they put them and they love to learn. So we have those groups of kids that they are really passionate about learning choreographies, and when we are there, they want to show us all the things that they know and to teach us the choreography. So they're active, they're still active, like dancing through the DVD and the television. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's amazing. Also, it's amazing because
Yeah.
that's a testament to your program. You gave them a tool,
Mm-hmm.
and now they're using the tool to express themselves and also to keep themselves busy during a time when they have to
Yeah.
be home. Are they still going to school or no?
Well, we have one orphanage here in Panama. They have their own school inside. So I'm not sure if they're having, because the teachers are coming from out of the orphanage. So they are like, they stopped. And in the other orphanage, what they are doing is like sometimes they are having like Zoom calls, but not every kid, because they don't
Yeah.
have all the computers. And yes, it's that. So it's like some kids can have those calls, and other kids have like a lot of homework to do at home during this time. So this is the way more or less how they are working here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So moving a little bit away from the current pandemic situation and how it's impacting the orphanages, I want to go back to normal programming and just how the orphanage dance program has made a social change within the orphanages. Because I know I spoke with Dana, who's the executive director of Movement Exchange, and she told me that because of this dance, they've now incorporated it into like quinceañera parties or something like that. Can you speak a little bit to the social aspect of what dance has created, this new type of culture?
Yes, yes, it's true. And I think it's really amazing that orphanage tag with us for those kind of things, because they are seeing our classes weekly, and suddenly they are like at events, or for example the quinceañera event that it's in a specific orphanage, and they are like, oh, please, can you help us to create a choreography with the teachers? And then the teacher have to go there and to teach this specific choreography. So I think having that opportunity to be like in front of everybody or another orphanage and showing what they know to do, and make them to
Yeah.
feel important, make them to feel like, oh, we have to get ready for our performance. So all of them are more disciplined, have like more discipline to go to the practice. So I think this is one of the things. We have a kid, well, it's not a kid now, she is 18 or 19. She's not in the
Yeah.
orphanage now, but he was in the program, because the program has 10 years now here in Panama. So she has been many years in movement exchange program. Now she's at the university, and she's always visiting the orphanage and talking with them like, hey, go to the dance classes that helped me, that now look, this is a great opportunity that not every kids have. And so it's
Yeah.
really amazing to see her now at the university and still dancing. So it's something that you say that, okay, it's working now. Like you can see that it's working with the kids. Now it's an adult and she knows how, she recognizes how the dance impact her life. Mm-hmm.
That's so amazing. It's so amazing to see children that have graduated the program and can tell you this impacted me. Because that's like straightforward telling you were moving in the right direction, right?
Yes. Yes, and
So
they
now
are
I'd like to,
having, I'm sorry.
oh,
I
go ahead.
was just going to add that they are having this artistic experience. We have our annual show every July. So they get ready to go to a theater and they will have a public to see them and to take picture and to film all the dances that they are doing. So they are like getting ready and make their makeup. They have to make their makeup and they have to use their costume. So it's an artistic experience. Like they feel like really important and they're like practicing the whole year for this event, or going to competitions, or going to different monthly activities with another dancer. So I think it's a really nice experience for them and for the teachers. And yes, it's really nice to see. Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to move into the question of funding. I know that you have exchanges, and I would like to know if you could share a little bit more about how the program is funded, because when you are giving dance to the orphanage, I'm assuming that the orphanage is not paying for this service. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. No, the orphanage is not paying for, not for the classes or for the changes. No, it's like we as a not-profit organization, we are offering dance for free to the kids, and for the changes you said, right?
Yeah, so where does the funding come from?
Okay, the funding comes from donations and from the changes. Mm-hmm. So the students, they are paying for the program to come here for a week. So this amount of money covered the place where they are going to stay, their food, the transportation for 1 week. So this is like the main
The
fund.
main income source.
Income.
Yes, because I know that multiple people who are hopping in on this call or who are going to watch it later when I upload it to YouTube, they have questions about funding to start similar programs, or they have similar programs and are having difficulties of funding. So I thought, this is a great example of how exchanges are not only, they're mutually beneficial, and also they help fund a program that's helping change lives.
Mm-hmm.
So how did Movement Exchange initially start the chapters in the United States? And how do they continuously have students that come down to support your program and support the children?
Okay, the founder of Movement Change, she is from United States, right? So when she came to Panama, she speaks like an amazing Spanish. So she starts seeing this opportunity. So when everything started, she was like the only one creating contact with the universities and organizing the changes and seeing everything to bring the groups here. So if I'm not wrong, in 2009 was like the first exchange. Like it
Mhm.
was like her first exchange, and she started doing that like alone. Right now, we there are like different people. Now we have like Dana, for example, that she's like contacting all the universities to talk with them about the changes. And the nice thing that I saw, I think like the strategy, it's like not just like come to the change and then you come back to your home, but it's like you can create your chapter. So many of the students that come here and they say like, well, I knew about movement change because I saw them in a page or in Facebook, but I don't have any chapter at school. You can create a chapter and to be the president of the chapter and create this group where they are organizing classes or to different kids in their country. So it's like I think it's really important for us having those chapters in different universities. Mm-hmm.
And do you know how many university chapters exist?
I'm not really sure how many, but I know many of them like uh, I'm really bad with universities for United States names, but could be
Yeah.
more than six, I think, or eight maybe.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
more. Maybe I'm wrong and they are more. I'm not
yeah.
really sure how many.
It's a really interesting idea too to have an exchange. I think it's a great idea. I'm thinking about it for my organization to have an exchange opportunity as a way to fund the program, especially because when you are working with orphanage, in some cases you end up seeing a need and you financially give to that need. So in order for those extra things to happen, like especially if you want your children during a performance to have something special, if you want to have funding for that, I mean, money doesn't come out of the air. So that's a really interesting way to help create opportunities for people from both sides, especially if somebody wants to find opportunities to support, because there's many people who would love to support dance programs. They just need to know where the dance programs are and what they're doing.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So I'd like to open it up again to any questions. If anyone here who's just hopped on has any questions, I'm here with Violeta from Movement Exchange in Panama, and the topic of the day is Orphanage Dance Programs, Social Benefits and Barriers Amidst COVID-19. And you can ask about the current pandemic situation or how the orphanage dance programs work. We were just talking about funding and the social benefits individually and collectively within the orphanages. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask now. Violeta, I don't know if you have any questions for me and the program here in Guatemala.
Yes, I would like to know how you start like this
Yes.
program and why Guatemala?
Yes. Okay. So my idea was never to be a dance teacher. When I was little, I thought, oh, I would love to be a ballet teacher, but I mean, I think a lot of little ballerinas want to be a ballet teacher or a ballerina. So I actually was in graduate school at the University at Buffalo and came here to Guatemala for my graduate school thesis, which has nothing to do with ballet. I was interviewing artisans that weave to see like what were the social impacts of weavers who were partnered with a nonprofit organization. And so basically, I was here with funding for 6 months from my university working on my thesis and doing internships. And I got offered a job, I thought it was my dream job, working with production between artisans and the United States in ethical fashion. And then they fell through both times. And so during this, I was doing those internships and writing my thesis, and somebody heard that I had danced ballet like my whole life, and I went to a pre-professional dance program just because I loved ballet, and my parents supported that passion. And so I started teaching dance to one little girl, and then she told her friends, and so then there were 3 little girls, and then this other little girl who was also their friend joined, and then I became friends with the little daughter of one of the moms who sells tortillas on the streets, and I was like, come join the program, you can come as a scholarship student. So that's how it all began. I was doing that, and after the job opportunities fell through, I continued teaching dance, and it continued to grow because people heard that there was dance here because no one teaches ballet in this province. Well, actually, no, there's one person that does teach ballet in the province, but it's a more open program, so mine was very like ballet, and this is what I want to do, and I want to do the shows and all of, more of the ballet family and studio idea. And so I was asking God, actually, I was like, Lord, like, should I be here? Should I continue to be here? And the Lord responded like that. Every single question I had within 24 hours, it was like, nope, you're meant to be here. Stay there, continue working. And then at church, I made a connection with this missionary who was working at the orphanage, and that's how I received my first student that was from the orphanage. And I saw what a dramatic change it made in her life, and I thought, this is incredible how dance can change a little girl's life who's been through such a hard situation. And so then I started accepting more, and then I connected with another organization, another orphanage, and so now that's where I am. I have a bunch of students, and I'm partnered with 2 orphanages, and the Lord always provides. Anytime I don't know what I'm going to do financially, and I'm like, Lord, I give it up to you, the funds come in. And so it's amazing because it is such a ministry, not only for the children, but also for me. I see how the Lord works and how God's using dance to transform lives. And Transformación Ballet, that's what it is. It's transforming ballet, like ballet transformation. So that is my short version of a very, very long story with a lot of testimonies.
Wow.
But if you want to read more, it's on the website for Transformación Ballet. It's like quite detailed. But yes. And how about you tell me about yourself? How did you find movement exchange? How long did you dance?
Okay. Well, right now I'm 26, but I started dancing when I was 12 years old, and I studied at the university dance, actually ballet emphasis. And movement exchange always have their exchange, and they bring people from United States, and they have exchanges in the National University of Panama. So I was their student. I was a student
Ah,
from the University of Panama. So I saw these groups, and we danced together, and they taught us a class, and we taught them another class, and we shared like different styles. So it was like part of the university program every year. So after I finished my university, I went to United States to dance, and then I had like a flight to Italy, and I lived there for some months. When I came back to Panama, I was looking for a job here in Panama, and a friend
yeah.
told me like, "Hey, you remember Movement Change, that this not-profit organization with the students from United States?" I was like, "Oh, okay, I will send my resume." And well, I'm here. I have like a year and 6 months, something like that, working with them.
Awesome. I'm glad that they have somebody like you in the program because it seems like you're very passionate about it and you're very knowledgeable. And it's so important when you're in the nonprofit sector to not only have the passion, but to understand how your actions impact short and long term, as everyone has seen over the history of nonprofits in the whole world. So we do have only a few minutes left. We have about 5 minutes left before Instagram kicks us off because there's a 1 hour limit. But there's a question here from Jose from Dance for Hope International, which is an organization based in the United States, which travels to developing parts of the world to offer free dance workshops by professional dancers. And so the question is, how long did it take for you to financially get consistent funding with Movement Exchange from the time that the founder began the program and the
I
organization?
think always has been a challenge, like to see, well, now what can we do? But I think getting like more recognized for the students, and the students are always talking like, hey, I went and I had like a really nice experience, and the chapters get like bigger. They start like creating activities at their university. So I think maybe the first years were like really hard, but I weren't there. I have like 1.5 years working for the movement change, but I think it has been like always has been a challenge. I think maybe
Mhm.
this last, I think 3 years, maybe, I think it has been like more, um, how do you say, like balance with that, because now we have more chapters, we have those students that they are like at the university and talking about movement change and making activities to come to Panama, and we are trying like to be in every website talking like, hey, we have a new exchange in December, for example, if you want to be part of this. But it has been like a marketing work that we have been doing for a long time.
Awesome. So, is this correct in summary? The consistent funding came in based on having multiple groups of passionate individuals who are working for your cause in a different location.
Exactly.
Yeah? Okay, cool. Yeah, because I think that's what a good leader is, a delegator, to help other people help you do your work because it's not possible for one person to do everything. So true. Do we have any other questions from the audience? We have about, let's see, we have about 3 more minutes left in our talk. Questions? Well, I have a quick question for you, Violeta. As far as seeing what Movement Exchange is doing in Panama, do you see any other similar organizations in Panama? Because I haven't heard of any others.
Well, there are different organizations. They are not exactly like changing not-profit organization, but dance programs. And it's really nice because, for example, there is a company here called Gramo Dance, and they have their foundation where they are like teaching how they have like a specific aerial dance for the kids for this community or different communities. Yeah, we have different programs here, dance
Wow,
programs. So it's
that's
really
amazing, actually. Because
Yeah,
it's not common to have free dance programs around the world, especially not in developing parts of the world. Here in Guatemala, I'm only aware of one other program that
wow.
offers ballet classes almost free. And it's incredible because it's very difficult for people who don't have a lot of extra resources
Yeah.
to give their time, because with that time they could be making money to eat and provide for their families
Yes.
and the future education of their children.
Even me, when I start dancing, I got a scholarship in the National Dance School here in Panama. So that
Oh,
helped me a lot
congratulations!
because in that time, actually, maybe my family has like just what we need to be at school, to be like, we didn't have like any big necessity, but dance sometimes it's really like it's not a cheap thing. Like you have to
No,
buy uniform and all these things are expensive here, so we didn't
yes.
have that money. So that scholarship actually helped me because I think if I wouldn't have it, I wouldn't be here or I wouldn't dance. Hmm. So it's really
Question coming in. Oh, I'm sorry. Question coming in. What is movement exchange in need of right now, considering the pandemic? And if you can answer that in about 30 seconds or 40 seconds.
movement change in need of right now. Well, what we need right now, is it the question? I don't know if I'm understanding right.
Yeah, like with COVID-19, what are the immediate needs or immediate things that can support the program if someone's looking to help?
Well, right now we have donations in our Facebook. We are having this virtual exchange that there are like 6 different dance style that we will have in May 16th. That just participating there and being in all the classes would be like a really big support right now for our teachers too, because they will be there teaching and yeah, I think that is like a really nice way to help us right now.
Awesome. So funding through their Facebook page if somebody is interested in donating, or is it possible for somebody to offer a dance class to support your organization through Zoom?
Ah, we have a virtual exchange May 16th. We have 6 different teachers with 6 different styles. We have salsa, we are having dancehall, different styles for this day. So you can sign up in these classes and be part of these classes. So participating in this virtual exchange would be a really big support.
Okay, and so just to clarify, when somebody is participating in a virtual exchange, does that mean that they're receiving a class, or how does that benefit your
They are
organization, Movement
receiving a
Exchange in
class.
Panama?
They can pay for one class, or they can pay for the class that they are interested, or the whole day of the 6 classes. Mm-hmm.
Awesome, cool,
Yes.
great. So, oh, I think we're going to be kicked off in about 1 minute. Yeah, so if anyone is interested in learning more about movement exchange and all the work they're doing in Panama for the community and the orphanage, or if anyone would like to continue this conversation, you can feel free to write to Transformación Ballet or to Movement Exchange, and we can give you an idea of how our organizations work and the benefits they do have on the community. So Violeta, I want to thank you so much for your time, and God bless, and thank you for using dance to help make a difference in children's lives, especially kids who sometimes they don't see that far into the long-term future, but dance gives them hope, at least for now, for goals and things that they can achieve. So I want to thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. And it was a pleasure to be here and talking about this passionate topic.
Yeah. Okay, well, have a beautiful rest of your International Dance Week, and I will talk to you soon. And thank you for everyone who joined today.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.